So here is my latest thrift store purchase. But I'm not going to turn this into a video epic about the clock itself. I'm actually going to turn it into a video epic about the repair that I'm going to need to exact on it. And apparently, I just caused an avalanche of crap to just collapse on me. Yeah, this place is still not totally clean. That will certainly be dealt with soon enough. But as you can see, if we look over here, the time is 12:48 a.m. Well, this certainly isn't too far off the minute hand, but the hour hand's a little bit incorrect. It's certainly not past 1 o'clock. So we're going to see if we can repair that. But the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get this thing out of this area so I can, in fact, work on it. Alright, so here's a look at the back. It's a little bit crooked because I'm actually using the Insignia tripod, that little mini thing that I bought, which is kind of a piece of crap, but hey, that's what I'm using for now. So we're going to take the back off. I'll take the back off. By the way, I'm pretty sure that this is made of cedar, because it actually smells quite a bit like cedar. And I'm going to see how hard it's going to be to take. Hold on a minute. Alright, so I can get this out now. I'm going to remove the battery. And I'll take a look at the clock face. I can do this. I didn't really need to remove that, did I? No, probably not. Probably could have done well without. Alright, so I think I've got it. It's not really much of an interesting video if you ask me. So now there's a problem. Hammer hand isn't turning. I wonder if this mechanism is slightly messed up. Hold on a minute. Alright, so I had to actually take both wooden pieces out and this piece of glass, which is actual glass, so that was a little nerve-wracking. But I didn't break it. So now I need to center this. This might be a little bit more difficult. Might be my next trick. I wonder... I think I didn't need to do that. I think the mechanism is supposed to sit... Okay, well, this ought to get more interesting. The mechanism, I'm assuming, because of the way that it sits in there, is supposed to actually sit on this groove piece at the back. Now, this is a little bit of a learning experience. I can put one of these back in, and then I can put the mechanism in, and then I can put it all the way back together. Alright, and there it is, all fully back into place. Now let's flip it up and hope that nothing goes smashy. Nope. Seems as though I put it in there fine. And looks as though it is actually perfectly aligned now. Well, maybe not perfect, but it is certainly a lot better than it was. And I'll tell you what, this wooden cabinet is very, very, very heavy. It's a little bit unfortunate that it's got such a cheap mechanism in it, and such a cheap, really it's such a cheap, well, except for the cabinet itself, a cheap construction. But like, this is actually really nice. I could probably, if I really wanted to, fit a vintage mechanism into this. If I ever get like a clock that's in terrible condition, that's not really worth much, I could probably fit the mechanism into this. And that would make it a little bit better. But let me set it and forget it. Okay, I actually switched tripods because I kind of think that this one's a piece of junk. Honestly, I'm surprised that Best Buy can even still sell those, and that they haven't become outlawed and illegal at this point, but... Okay, it's counting. So I could put the back on. Where's the back? Here it is. This cedar backing. In fact, the whole thing, I think, is made of cedar wood. At least it's got that smell to it. Oh, that might cause a splinter, so I better take that out of there before it does cause a splinter. And we'll close it up. Oh, crap. I needed to set it, didn't I? So the back's got to come off. I am such a smart pants. Wow. Alright, so let's flip it around so that at least you can see what I'll be doing. You can also see that, like I said, it's a little bit aligned. It's now 1:05 in the morning. Alright, so yeah, this probably took a little bit longer than it should have, but never you mind that. Let's see here. Where's that stupid knob? Here it is. Turn it the right direction. Go to 1:05. That looks good to me. Actually, it's 1:06, so I might as well set it to 1:06, which means I better move it over another position. That looks fine. So, is it 1:06? Yeah, it's 1:06. So there we go. Now I can flip it back around. Here you can see the nice wood grain finish. This actually is real wood, or at least its weight would definitely suggest that it's real wood and not just plastic with some kind of veneer or, I don't know, or vinyl or whatever, or just paint. And it really is a nice looking piece. It's too bad it's just so cheaply made. And you can see just how nice it actually is. It's nice and shiny. There's definitely nothing really that I would consider off about it. The only thing that was wrong with it was, of course, that the mechanism was a little bit off. And there's some blemishes here and there. There's a couple dents in the top. And let me grab the camera here and let's take a look. So you can see there's a couple of dents in the top. I'm not quite sure what would have done that. There's a scrape here. There's some more dents. There's some dust on it. But really, it's not in bad shape. This backing is kind of, well, meh, iffy. And these screws were kind of loose, so I tightened them up a bit. But I left this one loose enough that I could still turn this at whim, so if I want to take it off and maybe adjust the time or something, it won't be too difficult to do so. Or replace the battery. But this should, in theory, run forever. It's a clock. They're very low power draw, but I really do like the styling of this. It's nice and vintage looking, which, as you can probably tell, is definitely near and dear to me. I have a lot of old items. That desk is actually fairly old too, but it's got some modern... It's had some stuff done to it over the years. What else in here I would say is vintage? Well, the computers are vintage, obviously, but... this is not quite vintage, but it's vintage looking, I suppose. Neither is the bed. But, it's definitely an interesting departure from what I normally get. Normally I get cheap LED or vacuum fluorescent display. I get those kinds of things, but I think having a nice analog clock that's vintage looking is nice for it to be around. But now I'm starting to get a little bit long-winded, and I think it's time that I stop the video anyway. So, thank you for watching. If you have any comments, feel free to leave them down below. And this is CP666 signing off. I hope to see you next time. Till then. I believe this is actually a mantle clock, which would suggest, or would explain, this base, this kind of base. Or maybe it was just designed to be a decorative piece. I'm not quite sure. I'm not even really sure how old it is. It probably isn't all that old. It's probably from like the 80s or the 90s. Maybe even newer than that. Might be even from the 2000s. Because the mechanism really is quite cheap. So it's not something real vintage, like from the 50s or something.